Hey everyone, before we take a look at the reworked Varian, I realized I actually completely forgot to show you guys the anniversary stuff in the collection that you can get to celebrate the 20th anniversary of StarCraft. So, hold on, they came out with these portraits to celebrate 20 years of StarCraft, so you can equip that. I, of course, equipped the Zerg one, because, of course, I'm, full of Swarm. But, of course, there's a Phoenix bundle if you want to get those skins. There's one for each race, Zerg, Terran, Protoss. So, of course, we've got Kerrigan, Nova, Hammer, Zeratul, Butcher. You're like, wait, why Butcher? Because of this skin. Because he's an Ultralist now, right? Artanis, Leeming, and Diva, and Stukov. Leeming and Diva are there because of this skin and this skin. So you can get those. Oh, excuse me. Along with these. And this is my favorite. New mounts. Zerglings! You can now ride a Zergling. That's the regular Zergling. That's the Char Zergling. That's my favorite right there. That looks awesome. And then the Chaldeer Zergling. You can ride a Zergling. I love it. Absolutely love it. So, yeah, that's some of the cool stuff that you can get. You can even get the Zergling bundle by itself. So that's some of the cool stuff that you can get to celebrate the 20th anniversary. All right. Now, on to Varian. Now, I have played a lot of Varian. I played him a ton when he first came out. He was so strong. And he has gone through so much change in this game. Now, this change is very incredible to me because I do not recall a time ever in this game where a character's heroics were moved out of level 10 to a different level. If I can recall, it's unprecedented. This has never happened in this game to any character on this roster. I cannot recall a time that ever happening. This move blows my mind, but I understand it because of the comments they said about how they wanted to have his role become more effective, because for the longest time we have said, well, Varian's not very helpful or useful until you get to level 10, because there's really nothing you can do much with him, and that's true. There's really, up until that point, there was really nothing you could really do with Varian up until you got to level 10 and got these heroics. That's now changed. Now, here's something I do want to point out. Here's some of the things that I noticed that changed. For one thing, Lion's Fang actually provides a heal now. Each enemy hit heals Varian for 35, increased to 140 against heroes. So, Lion's Fang is actually not only provides a slow, but it also provides a heal for Varian. I think they made it where it's not just the maximum health, but also the maximum health regeneration has now been increased when you pick Taunt. And I think that was the only change there, if I recall. But here's some things that's really important, though. At level 4, obviously, are these. At level 7, they replaced the parry talent here that would extend the duration of your parry with one that increases the amount of healing you get from your Lion's Fang. So you no longer have an increased duration on your parry. So here's the thing, guys. This is something important to take note of. Shield Wall, it still grants protected, but here's the problem. The cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds, but it loses 1 charge. So now you only have 1 charge of parry. It used to be you could be able to pick up, Shield Wall. You could pick up the talent that would increase the parry's duration, and you could be able to have 2 charges of protected, and you could be able to have an increased duration on those. And it was so strong. The fact that you lose a second charge and you also lose the talent to increase its duration, how long it lasts, that is a huge nerf to this, in my opinion. I think Yes, it does reduce the cooldown, but the fact that it's not able to last as long as it did before, and it loses a second charge so you can't just spam them back to back, that's a huge nerf in my opinion. I was testing this out in PTR, and it just seemed like it wasn't nearly as effective anymore as it used to be. And so, because of that, I have a speculation, a possible theory, that Warbringer could end up coming back. Now, I remember a time when Warbringer was the only one you chose there, because it had a stun, and Warbringer with a stun, combined with either Twin Blades or Taunt, was overpowered. It was so strong. You could not get away from Varian. If you were a character like Tracer, you were hit by the stun from Warbringer, and you were hit with a taunt, and you were just stuck in place for like 3 seconds, and you were dead. It was insane how strong that was. And combine that with Twin Blades, no one could get away from Varian, because he had a stun, and he had movement speed, and he had this increased... It was so strong. I suspect now that because it looks like Parry and Shield Wall are getting nerfed, I think Warbringer could make a comeback. Which means I think Twin Blades could be making a comeback, guys. Now, you'll still see it on occasion, sometimes, but man, when Varian first came out, and I'll elaborate more on this in my video on him and my A through Z playthrough, man, the first week, Twin Blades was like the dominant build. It was so strong. And we are going to take a look at that today, and I'm going to test out Warbringer here, because I actually think that having only one charge is really going to hurt Varian. So let's take a look at the new reworked Varian.
We will forge a great destiny.
Now, there are some that may say that you still take Shield Wall because of the protection, but you would have to time it so well, because the fact that you can't just spam 2 charges back to back and have them last... Gosh, how long did it increase the duration? The duration was increased... What was it, an entire whole second? So it was like at least 2 seconds worth for each charge. Alright. So, we're gonna go with High King's Quest, which is pretty much still the same.
You did that on purpose. We forge our own destiny.
Fun little thing, I actually never used to take Overpower if I was gonna go with a Taunt Variant, because to me this didn't necessarily seem to work. I'm going with a Taunt build, if I'm just going in there to spam my parry and just stay alive and do a Taunt. So I would take Lion's Maw to get that increased slow to add more crowd control for my team if I'm going to be the tank. But, I don't know. I mean, plus also the fact that now you can actually have healing with this. This could also start to be seen more often now. So let's start working on our quest by just simply attacking Muradin. Hold on. Let me get this globe here. There we go. There we go. Look at that. It actually provides healing on the minions, so that can actually pretty nice make a Varian maybe a pretty decent soul laner to having that extra heal. Alright, so the teams. Varian, Uther, Hammer, Vala Falstad versus Muradin, Illidan, Nazeebo, Morales, and Zagara.
This one's mine.
There we go. Got that takedown. Yes, I have Rhaegar as my announcer for Varian because, of course, we remember the history between Varian and Rhaegar.
Act as one.
Look at that. Through all those minions, I got all that healing. I do like this healing functionality added to his Lion's Fang.
So be it.
Look at that. Of course, we're just trying to get to level 4 so we can get our heroic. Man, I thought I'd never say that in this game. Okay.
Storm winds might.
I have always loved Twin Blades Varian. Always loved Twin Blades Varian. When he first came out, it was all I used. All I played. And this was back when Taunt was not really that strong. All it really did was give him, like, increased health. It was, like, 60%. And pretty much everyone was like, it's not that great. Like, no one picked Taunt Varian. Like, the only way you played Varian back when he first came out was DPS. And now some people loved Colossus Smash. But there were many of us, like myself, that just loved Twin Blades along with Warbringer because, again, you just charge in every 8 seconds with a stun, have this extra movement speed. No one could get away from Varian. Like, once he got to you and he had that stun, you were dead because there was no way you were going to get away from him. He just owned you at that point. There was no way you could get away from him or stop him. That was just the reality whenever you faced against a Varian back in the day. Back in the day when he first came out a couple years ago. Actually, it's more like a year ago, actually. Because it was after, not this past year's WrestleMania. Sorry, I have that on my mind. BlizzCon, excuse me. And then he came, you know, but the year before. Alright, I'm gonna back off, get some health. I need... Alright, here we go. Second wind. Man, of course, that parry really strong against an Illidan.
Once.
Well worth it.
There you go. See, this movement speed, man, this movement speed that you get, it's just so good. There you go. Okay, so let's see, how am I doing? 5 takedowns, already had that. I just need 3 more basic attacks, I'll increase it even more. There we go. Oh, we almost got the Morales. Alright, so as a Varian, a Twin Blades Varian, you are one of the best junglers in the game. So, I'm going to work on getting this camp here. I cannot believe I'm actually able to do this before level 10. This just feels so much better, the fact that you're able to play the role you intended to play with Varian this early on. Alright. And now we turn in. Never mind, my teammate did that for me. Get back here, Illidan. Ah, never mind. Alright. We'll get rid of that tower. We'll get this globe here. There we go. I just need... Yeah, I just need one more globe. And now I'll finish my High King's quest already. Alright, Warbringer. Man, it's been a long time since I picked this talent. Again, this used to be the go-to talent. There was just no other option. You didn't even consider Shield Wall back then. The stun was so strong, it was all you ever wanted to take. And just like that, I've completed my High King's quest already. So now my basic attacks are so much stronger. 193, and we are, of course, because our attack speed is so strong, you know, so good, we are just able to just do a ridiculous amount of damage and attacks really fast. Nope, you're not getting away, Morales. There we go. My goodness. Reduces the cooldown by 8 seconds. That's a 4-second cooldown! And again, this doesn't have that stun anymore, but man, when it did, it was so... Look at this. This is just a sample of how effective this build used to be. Warbringer with Twin Blades. You could not get away because you're providing that stun or a slow later on. And it was every... It used to be just a 4-second cooldown reduction to every 8 seconds. Now you can make it every 4 seconds. I mean, that is incredible. And then you can pick up Juggernaut to if you are dealing with high health heroes, which... Or if you want to go with Moral Strike and reduce their healing. Which is going to be effective against both a Illidan and a Morales. Because you're reducing the amount of healing that they each give out or receive. Of course, go down here. Get this camp before we turn in. Although, for some reason, they're just sitting there. Silly AI teammates. I did not even put together that that was a 4-second cooldown now until after I chose it. I was like, oh my gosh, I can do it again.
Well deserved, my friends.
Nope, nope, you're not getting away. You're not getting away. Have that extra heal from my Lion's Fang. I can be able to charge right at him. I can parry. I got the movement speed so that he can't get away. Oh, that is so strong. That is so satisfying. You're not getting away. Come here. Oh my goodness, guys. That 4-second cooldown, I honestly believe that Twin Blades Varian is going to make a comeback. A serious comeback in the meta. Now, obviously, I'm not showing it to you here because I chose to go with Warbringer to see how effective it could be. But I'm telling you that when I experimented with Shield Wall, the fact that you lost a second charge, it just felt so... like a really strong nerf. Like, it wasn't nearly as effective as it used to be. Yes, you're still getting that protected status, but what made it so strong was that you could be able to spam 2 charges of it back to back. I guess if you're someone who has mastered Genji's Deflect or Medivh's Protect, then you're probably going to be able to find it more effective. But those were characters who also had, you know, have ways to disengage because they're squishy characters. Whereas Varian, he had the capability to, you know, pick a taunt that could make him a tank. Alright, and you can pick up the movement speed, which makes it where you can move even more, and no one's gonna get away from Varian. Not a chance. This was the Varian that I fell in love with when he first came out right here. This one that no one could get away from him and he could just keep himself alive no matter what. There was just nothing anybody could do. Once Varian got you, you were dead. There was just nothing that could be done. Except maybe an insane amount of crowd control, but even then, look at this. The damage I'm doing because I finished my quest, and the amount I'm able to keep myself alive because of that heal. This is why Varian, Twin Blade Varians are able to solo bosses. Gosh, it just feels so strong and satisfying to do again. Gosh, it is so fun to play Twin Blades Varian. Man, Warbringer felt so satisfying. Like it was when he first came out. Oh my goodness. I think that this could be the new way to go, because I think people are going to realize they can't spam 2 charges back to back of Protected, and they're going to realize that it's not nearly as strong as it used to be, especially the fact that you can't increase its duration anymore. That was a big nerf to me. The fact that you took away the talent at level 7 that increased parry's duration. I really believe that that was a very strong nerf to that protection status. I just think that people are going to start to realize how much they miss being able to spam 2 charges of that and have it like feel like 3, 4, or even 5 seconds where he had that protected status where you just couldn't kill him. That's how it felt sometimes. Now, if you take this, then this is going to put him more along the lines of how Genji and Medivh are with their protection abilities, but the fact that he's supposed to like dive in there as the tank and be the front line as opposed to those other guys that they can be able to, you know, use that and then get out of there with their portal or their dash. Varian doesn't have that. Once he goes in, you know, he has to then, you know, go the long way. Whereas this here, the fact that you can use this to go to allied heroes, this makes it more like Illidan's talent where he can be able to, friend or foe, where you can use this to die to allies in order to be able to have an extra way to get out of there. So I really think we're going to see Assassin Varian come back into the fold in the meta, because I really think that this is going to start to fall out of favor when they realize how much this got nerfed, in my opinion. And I think Warbringer is going to start to make a comeback. The fact that this goes from a 12-second cooldown to a 4-second cooldown, and you can use this to go to allies, I really think Warbringer is going to start to make a comeback. I really believe that. If you think differently, please by all means let me know in the comments what you think about this new Varian, and whether or not you still think parry taunt Varian is still going to be the thing to do. Although a lot of people say they prefer Colossus Smash, and I could still see that being very effective as well. You know, but the big thing here is Shield Wall and Warbringer. That's the big thing here. You know, again, the talent that used to be here that increased the duration was a very favorable talent because of Shield Wall. But now that's no longer there, this doesn't seem nearly as effective anymore. But maybe I could be wrong. Maybe people will still take it because they still value that shield wall, that protection. It does reduce the cooldown. Let's see, the cooldown is 10 seconds. So it does reduce it to 5 seconds, but the fact that you don't have a second charge to spam back to back, I really think is a huge nerf to that. I really think the parry Varian might be gone now because of how much I believe it has gotten nerfed. And I really think we are going to go back to seeing Warbringer Varian along with Twin Blades. I will probably still see Taunt, but the fact that you cannot have a strong parry protection Varian anymore, I think that could start to fall out of favor. I really do. I think Assassin Varian is going to start to rise up as the meta, whereas Taunt Tank Varian is no longer going to be the go-to. I really think the parry Taunt Varian has gotten nerfed really hard because of how strong it used to be. But, again, I might be wrong. So, if you think differently about these two here especially, let me know. There was another interesting, notable change, and that was to Tracer, which, and by the way, I love the skin they gave her. Hot Rod. It's basically Iron Man. It's fantastic. They did some interesting changes to Tracer where I think they buffed her health, they buffed her basic attacks, but they nerfed some of her abilities. I think her blink, yeah, it's now 8 seconds cooldown for each charge, which is pretty notable. Recall has had its cooldown increased to 30 seconds. That's a big nerf. The fact that she can do that every 30 seconds, it feels like a much more effective nerf. It feels like, but the fact that they increased her health and her basic attack damage, I think that that's going to be an interesting change. They did make some changes here. Basic attacks lower the cooldown of blink by 0.15 seconds. Takedowns grant 2 charges of blink, and it increases the charges by 1, but it also increases the cooldown by 2 seconds. So now this would give you 4 charges of blink, but it would be 10 seconds for each charge of blink. So it's going to be very interesting to see how people receive Tracer. I used to play Tracer a ton when she first came out, when she was incredibly strong. And then they nerfed her really hard, and I haven't played Tracer hardly that much at all in recent times. I'll probably check her out to see how she plays now, see how effective she could be now. I think maybe Bullet Time could be the go-to talent here. Untouchable, with the increased basic attack damage, could make her basic attack insanely powerful. It's going to be very interesting, to see how Tracer is received now. So I'm telling you this because I don't necessarily think it's warrant doing a video on it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the new Tracer and the new Varian. I think Assassin Varian's going to make a comeback. I don't know how Tracer's going to be received. I'll just have to wait and see. So